Brought to you by stationhousecoffee.com and inspireddisorder.com/ting.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
I'm thinking of ending things. A new movie out now on Netflix, directed and written by my favorite screenwriter, Charlie Kaufman. He's written movies such as Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Being John Malkovich, Adaptation. He's also started directing. He directed his own stop motion animation film, Anomalisa. He directed Schenectady, New York, both of which are good, but I prefer his movies directed by other people versus him because he's so like his stories that he writes are so dense and so surreal. And when he directs them, there is a huge aspect of kind of meta information. Like a lot of, you almost have to go in slightly educated of what's going on, or watch the movie multiple times, or in this case, read a Vanity Fair article written by Joanna Robinson, which is what I did after watching this movie, because ultimately this movie is very confusing. Slow. It's kind of irritating. Just kind of the emotions that kind of creep up while watching this. Confusing, a little painful. Not the movie itself is painful, but kind of the situation. So you're following this girl, young woman, and she as she goes on a trip to visit her boyfriend's parents with her boyfriend. They haven't been going out for very long, but it's very simple. Not a lot of characters in this. You got, of course, Jesse Plemons, who is I'm a huge fan of, from Friday Night Lights, the TV show, to Breaking Bad, to like everything he's been in is great. I think he's a great actor. Really kind of visually kind of sinks into a role. And then, of course, there is the young woman played by Jessie Buckley, which she looked familiar, but I've never seen anything she's been in. She's done a lot of work. I'm just not familiar with her. She does look familiar, though, so maybe there's other actresses out there that have a similar look. I thought she was amazing. She's kind of the centerpiece in this whole story. You're really following her, even though the movie is technically not about her. If you read, if you go into this movie and you know what's going on, you kind of get hooked into what's going on, what the potential reality of this film is, then good for you. There was a few things I kind of picked up on and I thought were kind of the explanation for this weird reality, but it didn't really it wasn't enough for me to completely wrap my head around the entire film. So they're going on this trip. It's snowing. They're on like the East Coast. I don't know exactly where, but they're leaving the city to go drive to this dude's parents' house, and they live out on a big farm or whatever. So it's them driving. I mean, this movie kind of opens up in this scene where she's standing outside and the snow's falling. Very similar. The trailer shows it, and it almost makes it. The trailer almost makes it feel like it's going to be a comedy of some sorts. No comedy. No kind of the tone is very, very subdued. I mean, the themes of this movie are loneliness and suicide, which the title kind of refers to. The actions and the conversations that Jesse Plemons and Jessie Buckley have in the car ride to his parents, it makes you feel like the movie is about her wanting to break up with him. Then they get to the parents' house, and it's just very awkward. If you've ever been in it's like a situation that I feel like I've been in a lot of times. I'm not really comfortable around family settings just because I didn't really grow up with the traditional family setting. I spent a lot of time with friends' families, not really my own family. So anytime that I have to go visit anybody's family, whether it's friends or a girlfriend, it's very, very awkward and very kind of that's where the kind of the emotions of kind of irritating and painful, just like it's just an awkwardness when you meet somebody's parents for the first time. And this really does a good job of bringing out those emotions. I would say it does a better job of bringing up the emotions that you need to feel than it does really giving you a roadmap to what this story is about, or what the movie is about, or what it's trying to say, or what the plot is. It doesn't do a very good job of that. It doesn't really spoon feed you anything that's going on. But since I did read the Vanity Fair article, I'm going to kind of spoil this movie in some ways in an attempt to just kind of talk about it more, especially what the movie is actually about. So if you want to see the movie, by all means, go watch it. It's on Netflix. But if you don't, or maybe if you want a little backstory on what's going on before you dip your toes in, here we go. So the movie also cuts to this older janitor guy, who you're seeing kind of throughout his day working at a school. So the movie, which I kind of hooked onto, that the movie is actually about this old guy, but you're not sure if and that he is. I think pretty early on, I knew that old janitor guy was Jesse Plemons' character, but you're not really sure if he's having a memory of a time when he was with this person, or if it's just a completely uh, um, he just completely imagined the whole thing. But you do know, I did catch on to like this old guy. I mean, clearly he has something to do. The way it's edited kind of reflects that. But it's basically this old guy who never actually left his parents' farm. And a lot of the interactions that he has with this woman, Jessie Buckley's character, are things that he had read and studied in his life, living out in the in the farmhouse, getting the job at this school that he's a janitor at, and just in his own head building this imaginary dream girl, this imaginary girlfriend that he had back in the day, and him taking her to meet his parents. And you kind of see that in the movie. It attempts to kind of show you, because the character that Jessie Buckley plays ends up changing. She changes from a poet to like a physicist to something else, and those things, those subtle changes in not only that, but her name changes also, and there's references to that in the phone, because she keeps getting these phone calls that she doesn't answer, and the names keep changing from like Lucy to Laura to, like, I don't know. There's different names. So you're basically following this guy who's kind of mentally out of it, because even his imagination, things don't go well. Things like you can tell that he's kind of working through stuff, but also that he's very suicidal. He's just like depressed. He's depressed. He's an old guy who never did anything with his life. He spent his entire adult life cleaning up a school. And there's also reference to that Jesse Plemons is the old guy, because all of the musicals that Jesse Plemons knows are musicals that high school students put on, which I didn't know that, but another thing I learned from the article. So if you know that the whole movie is basically in the mind of this old guy, then it brings on a lot more. There's a lot more substance to the movie when you kind of understand, when there's kind of a flagpole that everything attaches to in some way. And there's clues to like how he constructed this kind of thing. So overall, it's good. I'd like to watch it again, knowing more and just kind of understanding what is the story is trying to be told. There is a conversation though at the dinner table when, I mean, weird things are happening. Like there's a dog that just kind of just shakes, like is constantly shaking the water off, but it's clearly the exact same like just unstoppable clip of this dog shaking. There's a scene where she's Jessie Buckley's character is walking downstairs, but it's like a never-ending staircase. Also, the parents are constantly changing ages, so it's also him kind of confronting the fact that he was there throughout his parents' life and just never really did anything with his life. And it's a really weird situation. Overall, the whole movie is very weird and very uncomfortable. The ending, of course, is interesting and does a good job of tying up some things. Like I was really hoping it would illuminate what I had just watched a little bit more. But there's a scene at the dinner table where they're talking about art. She's an artist, and the dad is talking shit about abstract art and how he prefers photorealistic art. And there's a thing that Jesse Plemons said, which an art teacher told me a long time ago, and it's a very similar thing that a belief or a feeling I have towards art is that if you want to do photorealistic art, then just use a camera, because the camera's going to do it just as perfectly and exponentially faster than if you're going to try and create something to look photorealistic. Whereas art should be creative. You're filtering reality through your head and interpreting it through your work, which should not. I mean, that's where creativity comes. There's zero creativity if you do something that looks like a photo. Technically, it's a very technical example of your technical ability, but it shows zero creativity, in my opinion. And that whole discussion about emotion and feeling, that I really enjoyed, which I think is also another layer to just the movie itself. There's just a lot of meta stuff. But overall, a difficult movie to watch. I really wish he would team up with other directors like Spike Lee or Michel Gondry like he has in the past, because I think those would be Spike Jonze, I mean. Because I think those would just be, I think they're just better storytellers than him, and they're able to kind of peel away a lot of the layers that just end up making it confusing. But it is what it is. I thought it was still good, well made, and I definitely will check it out again. It's on Netflix. I'm thinking of ending things, so check it out if you're looking for something new. Make sure you support our sponsors by following Station House Coffee on Instagram and going to stationhousecoffee.com and order yourself some amazing premium coffee, small batch, single origin coffee brewed in Vermont, shipped directly to you. Go to stationhousecoffee.com, support small business, and get yourself some high quality, amazing coffee today. Also, get $25 in credit when you sign up for your new cell phone service over at Ting. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. That's Ting, for the best coverage coast to coast, same low rates, now with 3 of the most powerful networks supporting them. Ting is amazing. You only pay for what you use. My cell phone bill has been less than $15 because I turn the data off because I'm home all the time. So go get yourself $25 in credit when you sign up for Ting using my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!